different. little different. Little different morning drive today. It is, well, actually it's afternoon drive. It's almost 2 o'clock, and I just heard something on the radio, kind of triggered what I wanted to talk about, and I'll start with a parable. Forgive me, I'm paraphrasing, but the parable goes, this man wanted to be famous. So he goes and sees a guru, so to speak, a wise man. And the wise man is standing next to a fountain meditating. And the dude goes up to him and says, "Guru, I'd like to ask you a question." So the guru kind of slowly turns around and just says, "Yes, how can I help you?" And the man says, I want to be famous. How do I become famous? I've tried, to do things to get myself noticed, but nothing ever seems to work. So the guru thinks about it, kind of nods his head, and in a flash, the guru grabs the guy by the neck, shoves his head in the fountain under the water, and holds his head under the water. And the guy's struggling, and he's fighting, and he's pushing, and he's just flailing about, and just he's desperate. At a certain point, he believes he's going to die, and with all his might, he struggles out of the grip of the guru, and is able to breathe again. And he takes a deep breath, and he looks at the guru with disgust and say, "What the heck? What are you trying to do? What was that all about? I just came to ask you a question." And the guru says, "When you want to be famous as bad as you wanted that breath of air, then you will become famous." I'll let that sink in for a minute. So that is a very, at face value, that sounds good. Hey, yes, that's what I need. That's the kind of motivation I need. That's going to work for me. Well, let's hypothetically put that into practice. So you want to be successful, you want to be rich, you want to be this, you want to be that. Let's put that into perspective and use that frame of reference. You want to be X so bad, it is as bad as you want a breath of air when you are drowning. Okay? Keep that in mind. So what does that look like? Let's say you want to be a singer, okay? And you love singing. Your whole life surrounds that you surround yourself with singing. So you've heard this message, and you're going to focus on having a singing career like it was your it was a breath of air when you're drowning. So what do? Well, you take singing lessons or whatever. You sing all the time. Your friends say, "Hey, let's go have a party, or let's go on vacation." "No, I can't. I'm focused on my singing career. Just trying to reach for that next thing. You go. You sing in bars to get yourself into the thing. You sing at contests. Yeah, there's open mic night. You go and you sing and that is your life. That is your focus. You got nothing else in your mind. You don't have time for family. You don't have time for your own family. If you didn't have a family, and you focus on nothing but your vision, then you're not going to have a family. If you had a family and then all of a sudden you want to focus in on that one thing, then you're going to alienate your family. But you know what? At all costs, if your family or if your friends don't align with your focus and your desire, your level of desire to become the world's greatest singer, then you need to jettison that. If your old lifestyle interferes with that focus, then they need to be done away with. Now, I'm not saying that's good or bad, but that's what you got to do if that's the premise you want to work with. I learned early on in life that, and it's cliche, and it's almost, I wouldn't say overused, but it's glazed over when people tell you that it's all about the choices you make. And it truly is. It's so simple. It's so simple that it's often overlooked that, yes, it is true that if you focus on something, a goal, as strong as you want a breath of air when you're drowning, chances will be very good that you will reach that goal, but at what cost? So if you are willing to forego or to put aside everything besides your goal, then that's your choice. That you have to live with the outcome of that. And kind of going back to biblical terms, when the Bible talks about, no one can serve two masters, they were talking about religion and worldly things, but it's true with anything else. You cannot serve two masters, at least two. Lots of people in this world try to serve more than two masters. But if your master is success, then anything else is out the door. And the other thing that gets kind of glazed over is moderation. With everything, moderation. Now, if you want to be an Olympic athlete, yeah, they've got to focus, and they've got to put the effort that to some seemingly is the focus of their life, but then they also have to have balance too. So it's one thing for the parable to say, you've got to want it bad enough. And I've got a little story about that too. One, yes, I guess the underlying message is, when you want it bad enough, you can achieve it. But to the extreme that put everything else aside besides what you want, I don't think that's healthy either. I watched this one video about this motivational speaker who used that one parable, and he goes on and on, and you got to do this, and when people that I've heard tell that parable, they don't tell you the flip side. Look at rock stars, look at celebrities, TV celebrities, movie celebrities. Their lives, not all of them, but for the most part, a lot of them, their lives are crap. I mean, they're rich, they're even some of them are powerful, they're good looking, but all that is fleeting. I read Sam Walton's biography a long time ago, and it wasn't written by him, it was written by what they call a ghostwriter. And the ghostwriter kind of put like a chapter in a forward, and he says, of all my years, and this guy specialized in biographies, it's like, in all my years of writing biographies, no one ever said, I wish I would have worked more. The recurring theme is, I wish I would have spent more time with my family. I wish I would have spent more time developing relationships with this person or that person. Nobody ever said, I wish I would have been more famous. So anyway, that's my perspective on that parable. If you have, or if you've heard it before, just something to think about. But on the flip side of that, again, moderation, focus, but don't forego of everything else that you feel is important. When I was in the military, I think I mentioned this before in my How to Study video. When I was in the military, I remember you have to take tests, exams, promotion exams, and that was your like final push to promotion. So if you scored high enough in your promotion exam, then obviously you'd get promoted. If you could be qualified, but if you didn't score high enough, then you don't make what they call the final multiple. And I remember, like, my first or second attempt, you had
continue 7.7 miles.
Every 6 months you could go, you could take the promotion exam for the next higher rank. And I remember the second time I took it and I missed it by like 2 points. 2 points to make the cutoff. And man, I was belly aching. I was complaining, whining. And this one chief who I did particularly care for, so he said something pretty profound, and it took me a while to get over the fact that I didn't like him, to accept what he said was the truth. He said, I was whining and moaning, and to another co-worker, and the chief was kind of overheard, and it's like, well, you must have not wanted it bad enough. And I was incensed. I was mad. I was like, what do you mean I didn't want it bad enough? Who doesn't want to get promoted? Who doesn't want more money? Who doesn't want more authoritative power, so to speak, in the military? Who doesn't want to be in charge, right? So I was pretty mad at him. But then I took a look at my life, and what was I doing when it came time to take the test? Was I studying? Was I watching TV? Was I out partying with my friends? Or was I studying? Was I studying 2 weeks before the exam? Was I studying 6 months before the exam? Was I studying the day after the exam that I just took, for the next 6 months exam, in case I didn't make it? And no, the answer was no to any of that. I didn't do what I needed to do to prepare myself to pass that promotion test without a doubt. So the next exam cycle, you better believe it, I studied, and it wasn't until after I went to college that I really learned how to study, but I put more effort into studying. I put more effort than I did before. Let's put it that way. It may not have been more efficient effort, but I did put more effort, and sure enough, I made the cutoff and I got promoted. But it was a short burst. It wasn't my it wasn't what I wanted to do the rest of my life, was this continual study for promotion tests. But I did have the focus to achieve that next goal. So you have to take that parable to me, I believe, you have to take that parable and pair it with moderation. Yes, it's okay to focus for a specific goal, but you have to have a goal. It can't be endless. Otherwise, you have to, and you have to decide: is the outcome of my goal worth what I'm giving up? That's the key. I want this. Am I willing to give this up to get that? And that's the answer you have to answer. That's the question you have to answer before you take the approach of focus and want it as bad as you want that breath of air. So hopefully you understood my rambling there. Catch you later.